What's up, friends? Welcome to Web3 Academy, a place for entrepreneurs, creators, and marketers to explore and learn how to use Web3 to transform business models and create thriving communities. Enjoy this next episode. GM, welcome to Web3 Academy. It's the weekly roll-up. I'm Jay Bird, coming at you from Grindelwald, Switzerland today. And as always, joined by my co-host, Kyle Reedhead. What's up, Kai?
And I'm in Barcelona, Spain now, so we're just all over the place. Just a little nomadic couple we are.
Are we a couple?
I don't know. Ask Sam. We're a duo.
Well, we got a big news week as always. So much coming at you, and we're here to make sure you are informed, giving you everything you need to know, so you don't have to spend 10 hours a day reading Twitter and trying to keep on top of all the crypto Web3 NFT news. Today, we've got Tornado Cash developer has been arrested in the Netherlands. Oof. Say what? Oof. Big tech is silently investing in Web3. Big time money. We're talking billions of dollars being invested by some of the biggest companies in the world. Who are they? What are they doing? We're going to break that down. The great NFT royalty debate kicked off this week. Funny how this has been happening for a while, but all of a sudden there was a big project launched, and it's really ignited this debate. There's some more Ethereum FUD, but this time with Coinbase. What's going on there, and what do you need to know as we prepare for the merge? And we've got the NFT of the month, who is a project that launched a new NFT review platform that we are very excited about. So stick around till the end so we can tell you all about that. But before we begin, let's practice some gratitude, because gratitude allows us to appreciate everything that we have. Kai, what are you grateful for today?
I am grateful to have the opportunity and flexibility to be nomadic and travel. Very grateful that I have built a remote life. I was just in Lisbon for the last month, which was incredible. I already miss it. And now I'm going to check out Barcelona for the next month. And I just walked around this morning and checked out the city, and just, super grateful that I get to do this, and couldn't be more happy about it.
Awesome. I am grateful for my mom. Last week was my mom's birthday, and while I didn't get to see her on her actual birthday, I met up with her a few days later. She's actually currently here along with my stepdad in Switzerland with myself and Sam, and it's just a very special opportunity to be able to travel with your parents. The older we get, I think the more we value any time we can have with our parents, in particular travel time, because when you travel, it's deeper time. It's not just over a dinner. It's like, multiple meals, multiple times, the in-between time. And I'm going to throw a second gratitude at you. I'm also grateful, and this is a bit meta, I'm also grateful for the gratitude channel in the Web3 Academy Discord community, because that is it's just a lovely place to go each day and to see what other people are grateful for. And this past week, two other of our community members were grateful for their moms because it was their moms' birthdays. So I want to give a shout out to Rezi and Dr. Who. Happy birthday to both your moms last week. The three of us were all sharing gratitude for our moms, and it was just a lovely little chat. So thanks to everyone in the community who posted in the gratitude channel. It's so nice to have a place like that that's so lighthearted and so nice to spend time in.
We love moms.
We love moms here on this podcast. Yes, we do. Kai, what's the Web3 word of the week?
Oh, the Web3 word of the week is pressure. I don't know if you're feeling it right now, but there is pressure coming from all angles on Web3, on this ecosystem, from the US to whoever else. But there is, someone getting arrested, which we're about to talk about. There's pressure to this centralized companies. There's pressure from all angles right now. And this is what happens when you have such a impactful, revolutionary technology that is like on the cusp of going mainstream. It's never going to happen easy. Just like the internet, it was not an easy transition to an internet world. It's not going to be an easy transition to a Web3 world. And that pressure is really building as as things start falling into place for this space. And there's a lot of good things happening. But obviously at the same time, that means pressure, which is the first news piece of the day of the show is just in, and it's not really just in because it was a couple of days ago now. But Netherlands announces the arrest of suspected developer of Tornado Cash. They literally, so this is Tornado Cash. We talked about it last week. You can go to the next one, Jay. But we talked about it last week. It's just a mixer so that you can transact with privacy. So people don't know which address it comes from. Obviously, some people can use that in a bad way. Some people can use it in a good way, just like cash. Well, there were sanctions from the US Treasury last week, I believe it was. And now one of the developers, I don't think he did anything wrong. He just helped build this protocol, is now been arrested. And just for basically writing code. They put him in jail. And that's just pretty insane, in my opinion. So I don't know what's going to happen. We haven't heard much more other than that. But I imagine there will be some lawsuits coming very, very soon because this just seems a bit ridiculous. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, are we going to arrest all bankers or corporations who know that they have, money laundering through their bank or their organization? No. Right. Like it's a far stretch to arrest somebody for writing a piece of code that is open source and blaming that person for the way that their code and their product was used, right? This person did not write this code explicitly for the use of bad actors. That's a big jump and a big stretch. And I think if this stands, and it won't stand, I don't think, but if it did, it would, it would be of a precedent setting that would have huge outcomes and consequences. Right.
I think it's pressure, right? Like this is the regulators and the big dogs just putting on some pressure. I saw a tweet somewhere. I wish I would have put it in here actually, but someone was like, "This is pressure from the banks because they don't want to lose their monopoly over money laundering."
Yeah, totally.
Anyway, we wish the best to this developer. Hopefully, he gets freed soon. And there's a lot of people on Twitter right now. If you see this, if you're watching, you can see Ryan Sean Adams. This is the tweet we're reading. His profile picture is the Tornado Cash logo, I believe that is. And just that's kind of in support for what's going on right now. So feel free to participate. More pressure, this time from our home country, Jay, is Canada. I don't know if you saw this. It's just happened, came out yesterday. But new regulatory changes in Canada for crypto. You are allowed to buy as much Bitcoin, ETH, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash as you want. But any other crypto has a limit of 30,000 net buy per year. What in the world is going on? Yeah. So I can buy as much Litecoin, which is just shitcoin.
Sweet.
Yeah, like what? In Bitcoin Cash, which no one uses, but I can't buy like Uniswap token or Aave or like all these things that are actually really good, useful protocols. And I can buy them, but I can only buy 30,000. Who are they to tell me what I can buy and how much I can buy? Like that is absolutely insane. So I don't know even like who came up with this or where this comes from, but we'll see. Vitalik tweeted about this too. And he's like, I got to look further into this. If this is like a company that's kind of pushing this or a regulatory thing or what, but very odd. I don't know what to even say about it.
We got to get our boy Adam Garrison to give us a take on this. If you haven't already seen it, yesterday, I believe, or 2 days ago, our podcast on the current state of regulation and legal in Canada and the US just came out. We had two lawyers, one from Canada, one from the US on the show, and we broke down what was going on. And this happened afterwards. So we'll have to get Adam's take on this because it doesn't make sense. Thankfully, it does not impact British Columbia where I live. So I might be okay.
That is so weird. Like, yeah, we'll give more updates as we see. But I mean, what's crazy is from the episode that we had with these two lawyers, like Canada was very forward thinking and doing great things for regulation and actually becoming a role model. So this came like as a surprise for me. Like we already have spot Bitcoin and things like that. I get they're trying to protect investors, sure, and altcoins are very risky and blah blah blah. But like, who are they to say which ones are risky and which ones are not? Like, yeah, very odd. Just very odd development. We'll see what
It
happens.
just feels like regulators are like out there like hunting with shotguns, you know.
Yeah,
They're
right?
just pull
We
it
got to
and
do
shoot it,
something.
and like
Yeah.
we got to do something. Hopefully we hit something. We're gonna probably screw up a bunch of shit and fuck a bunch of people over,
Yeah.
but who cares, right? Like we got to do something.
Yeah.
And, you know what you need to do, regulars, you need to listen to the Web3 Academy podcast.
That's a
and
good
you need to
idea.
subscribe to our newsletter so you can learn more before you make these decisions.
I think the problem is that we like to make fun of boomers, and all the regulators are boomers, so maybe they don't want to listen to us. Well, I like to make fun of boomers, maybe not you, Jay.
I'm too nice. I don't make fun
Yeah,
of
you're
any.
too nice.
I love everybody. Okay, over the last 9 months, 40 of the top 100 public companies have invested $6 billion into Web3 companies. And I don't think most people know this. This all happens, you know, behind the scenes. Not it's unless you're following very closely. This is tough stuff to see. A couple of highlights here. We got a chart up on the screen that was tweeted out by CZ Binance, and there's, oh my gosh, like I said, there's 40 of the top 100 public companies here.
I mean, but look
Alphabet,
who the biggest is.
Google,
right?
Yeah, Alphabet, who owns Google.
Yeah, Alphabet, which owns Google, has put in $1.5 billion into Web3. So Fireblocks, Dapper Labs, Voltage, Digital Currency Group. And this is only since September 2021. Is that true?
Yeah. It's the last 9 months.
1.5 billion since September 2021. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Samsung has invested in 13 different blockchain companies. 13.
Wow. Sky Mavis, which is the creator of Axie Infinity. Samsung was an investor there. Tencent, which is the biggest, it's basically like I think the Facebook of China. They invested in Immutable X. We talk about them all the time and how amazing they are, layer 2 of Ethereum. So there's a big one. Microsoft, which invested in Consensus. We knew that. PayPal. I mean, all the banks, which say that crypto is shit and whatever. And you got like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, BlackRock. So you know what they're doing, right? Citi, and they're all just like saying it's going to go to zero so that people will sell and they can buy in for much cheaper. It's crazy.
It's just wild what, you know, it's the right hand over here doing one thing and the left hand over here doing another, right? Yeah. You know, it's hedging. It's making sure they're prepared for what they know is going to happen, but not doing this publicly in the media. Like they're not throwing this news out into the media and showing that they support blockchain and crypto. No, they're doing this silently, but they know it's coming. Like if you need any more proof that this is coming, like $6 billion invested. We
live in such
9 months.
It's crazy. We live in such a media world that like these big players, they know that they can just they can say things in the media to sway markets and to do things, and then they can do the opposite. It's actually pretty wild when you start to understand what's going on. But anyway, so we talked about big companies investing in this space in Web3. Now we have Argentina, which announces that Buenos Aires is how you pronounce that, I believe. Buenos Aires is running Ethereum nodes in 2023. So that's really cool. They're going to be part of securing the network of Ethereum. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about some Ethereum FUD at the end of this. So I wonder if they'll continue, but I guess they're outside of US jurisdiction, so they don't really care about these regulations and things going on in the US. But yeah, so we used to talk a lot about, you know, Bitcoin and how countries were going to buy Bitcoin, and, you know, El Salvador is going to mine Bitcoin, et cetera. Now we have countries that are going to run Ethereum nodes. And again, why not? If you saw the article that I wrote and filmed a podcast about on Monday called why the Ethereum merge is important for Web3, I talk about the internet bond and basically talking about how big companies, governments, et cetera, they love yield. And with this merge, with proof of stake on Ethereum, we're about to have sort of a risk-free rate for Web3. And I can definitely see countries. I mean, I didn't really think countries, I thought more companies, but absolutely, why wouldn't countries get involved? And so let's see. It's in the news. We'll see if it actually happens. It's not till next year, but cool. Go Argentina.
All right, shifting over to the great debate of the week. If you are on Twitter, you could not have missed the great NFT royalty debate that is happening right now. And so if you're wondering what this debate is all about, let's take you back to the beginning. How did this debate start? First, what you need to know is that despite what you probably think, NFT royalty contracts or royalties are not enforceable on chain. So when somebody creates an NFT, they put a royalty in there. Typically, it's somewhere between 2.5% to 10% of secondary sales that the creator gets as a royalty. And this has been one of the sort of core tenets of Web3 from the beginning, is this belief in putting more hands back into creators, artists. This is really good for artists and musicians who often don't get much money from their art that they're creating. They get just a sliver of what is eventually the worth, right? So we all thought, and I think many people still think, I'm sure, Kai, you would agree, that these royalties are enforceable on chain, when in fact they are not. So what currently happens when a secondary sale is made on, let's say, on OpenSea, is OpenSea is honoring that royalty. So they're collecting that royalty and then they pay it out back to the creator. And that's basically like an honor system that's happening right now. So what happened last week, and why did this all of a sudden blow up? Why did this all of a sudden become news? And why was it so much in the zeitgeist of crypto Twitter? Is because SudoSwap launched an NFT marketplace, and their NFT marketplace does not honor creator royalties. So, and they also have a much lower fee, a 0.5% fee on their transactions. So essentially, what you can do is, and a lot of people have done this, I think the numbers, let me just look here. So yeah, according to Dune Analytics, SudoSwap did 2 million in sales yesterday, or I think this was 2 days ago alone. That's 14% of the daily market share versus OpenSea. So in just a month since SudoSwap launch, they're already up to 50% of OpenSea's. So, and they've added over 10,000 users and traded over 6,000 NFTs on their platform. So there is volume happening, and because of that volume that's happening, and because of all this attention going to SudoSwap, and obviously who are a lot of the people that are currently in the NFT space are flippers, traders. And what are traders going to do? They're going to go to the market that offers them the greatest return and the greatest profit. And so they're going to SudoSwap. And this is bringing up this question of, should we be paying royalties to NFT creators? And yeah, I think it's, I think I'm curious to know what your view is, Kai. My view is, and then we'll get into some takes from people and some others. My view is that this is paramount for Web3. We need to really push this concept of creator royalties, because this is what puts the financial power back in the hands of the creators to begin with, as opposed to allowing the Web2 world to benefit from the content that we create, that the creators create. So I think this could not be more important for us to push this concept of ensuring that royalties are paid. Although the problem is, it doesn't look like it's going to be enforceable on chain, which really sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the camp that I think we need royalties. I think it is a massive unlock for creators that doesn't exist in Web 2. And if we can find a solution to that, I think it's a big selling point for people to actually use NFTs, right? Without it, there's kind of not really well, I mean, there's still some points, I guess, but not really. But it's one of the big unlocks. And like, it makes sense. Like if someone creates some art right now and they're small, no one knows about them, but they blow up in 10 years from now, usually it's their original art that becomes worth the most. And that's the thing that they gave away for free or sold for like $10 on the street kind of thing, right? So they make nothing from it. And to me, that makes no sense. If you think about business, if I start a company, right? I have equity in that company. And my hope is that I'm going to be successful and this company is going to be successful in 10 years. And if it is, I can reap the benefits of all that work I put in over the last 10 years with that equity, right? And you don't really get that as a creator. And so it kind of screws over the creators in some way. Not screws over, because like that's just the reality of how it had to work in the Web 2 world. But now with Web 3, we can change that. We can fix that. And I think, why wouldn't we try to do that? My big thing is, though, is like you said with OpenSea, right now it's more of a trust thing. We have to trust that OpenSea will do this. We can't do that. Like that never works out. Humans are unfortunately like innately, I don't want to say shitty people, but like we're greedy, right? And so if there's a way to get around it, then people are going to go around it, as you're already seeing with pseudo swaps. So like, I don't know. There's got to be a way that we can get this in the code. I put out a thread on this and had a bunch of people joining in that conversation. And right now there is no solution. But I mean, if there's one thing about Web3, about this space, is we are an innovative group of individuals and we find ways to solve problems. And so I mean, let's go through the other takes here, but I'm pretty confident that at some point we will find a way that we can get this written in the code.
Yeah. Okay, so first take we have here is from Zeneca 33. A growing increasingly more convinced zero royalties is inevitable. Sadly, projects and creators should be proactively thinking about alternative revenue models. We certainly are at Zen Academy. We must fight for artist royalties, at least in my opinion. 10K projects are different. So he's clearly in support of royalties. He's also acknowledging that if you are an NFT project, you should prepare that there might not be creator royalties in the future, or it might not be all people who pay creator royalties. But he also mentions that 10K projects are different, which I think is really interesting, is this acknowledgement that not all NFT projects are created equal. So perhaps creator royalties should be paid in some cases forever, in perpetuity, right? A one-of-one piece of art, for example. There's an artist, as you said, Kai, there's an artist who creates art, and maybe when they're young, their art's not worth much, but as they grow older, their art blows up in value, and one of their original pieces becomes their most valuable piece. Really, I think they should get royalties on that for for their lifetime at least, or something like that, for a long time, right? 10K projects are different because those are communities where you're joining a community, and does that community need that revenue off of your royalty, or is there other models to do that? And we're going to talk a bit about subscription NFTs and possibly other models for that type of project to ensure that they are getting revenue without the creator royalties. The other problem with 10K project getting creator royalties is all it does is incentivize the 10K project to create secondary sales, which really is why do you think that so many NFT projects, the bigger 10K projects, and I'm using 10K projects, but really 2K, 3K, 4K, 7K, why do you think that they have delayed reveals? Well, they have delayed reveals because what does that do? It creates secondary sales, right? It creates, the market gets speculation, it gets excitement, and there's secondary sales, and it gets more royalties back into the hands of the creator, which I think you could argue maybe there's tactics that are incorrect here or wrong. Here's another take here in response. I think you are likely, this is from Zero XS, I think you're likely correct. Perhaps royalties persist at the cultural level. In the US, tipping is not law, but has become cultural norm. If an infrastructure is maintained that allows for tipping with some social incentives towards tipping behavior, maybe we keep that behavior. What do you think, Kai?
Yeah, maybe. I'm going to assume probably not, though, because that's just, again, human nature. Like, yeah, tipping exists in the US, and that's more, I don't know how that actually became a thing and how that continues, but like I'm in Spain, was just in Portugal. Tipping doesn't exist here for the most part, like at all. And actually most countries, it doesn't exist. It's basically only the US and Canada. Like, I can't remember. I don't even know what other countries do, but there's not a lot. And so I just, I don't hold hope for the tipping. I think, though, Web3 does enable a bunch of other opportunities, which we are going to write an article on, of other ways you can make revenues using NFTs. There's lots of opportunities there. It doesn't have to all be from royalties, and tipping is kind of like, tip if you want, but I don't know. That just seems odd to me. It's not a great business model. Like, you should never build a business hoping for tips, it's just, that's not a good, it's not a good business model.
All right, well, here's another take and directly aligns with the tipping. This is from Beeple. Beeple says, I think the creator royalty argument is actually a lot simpler than people know it to be. there is zero way to force royalties technologically. So creators will have to build a collector base that want to honor these royalties. It's really that simple.
100%. It's all about creating value in your business, no matter what you do. I don't care if you're an artist, you're a creator, you're building an application, whatever you're doing. It's like business is about, are you solving problems for your customers? And some people love art, right? And so are you doing something really cool to make them really want that art? And if they are, and they connect with you and jive with you, they will do the things, whether it's a subscription for your art or it's, I don't know, whatever the way is that people are gonna have to buy it, they'll do it as long as it's good. But like, if you make shit art, don't expect to make money from it. That's not what NFTs unlock for you. And we got to take on this at the end, actually. But I like people's take here, right? Just make people want your shit, and then you will find a way to make money.
And there's lots of examples of this where there are NFT sales, particularly of like large NFTs that happen not through marketplaces, right? They're one-to-one direct sales. And there is many examples of in those direct sales. So these are just like between a buyer and a seller, no marketplace involved. The buyer, or sorry, the seller will go to the creator and give them their royalty as an honor system because they believe in what this creator is doing and they want to support that creator. So I think it's such a great take. Another great take along similar lines comes from Gossamer Rosen, an incredible NFT artist. And he says, there is no debate about royalties. Either you want more money or you're willing to give the artist some of the cut. That's it.
Yeah, it's true.
There's also this question, again, I think this is what we talked about at the beginning of, okay, why can't we do this on chain, Kai? Like, shouldn't we be able to figure this out?
That was my question. I was like, why? I don't understand. Why can't we just put in a smart contract? But basically, you can't actually put, like, the NFT itself is not a smart contract. So you can't actually write anything for that. It's like the smart contract is in the executing the trade, right? Which is generally done by the marketplaces. And so, or whoever is doing it. So like, technically it's just not possible right now. Now, there is a proposal here that Jason Keith put out. I'm not sure who wrote this proposal, but it's basically a proposal for a standard for on-chain royalty for NFTs. EIP 4910 is the proposal. I'm not sure where this will go. Have you read the proposal at all, Jay?
I haven't read the proposal because everything I read said that it was just not possible on chain. So I kind of gave up going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, I had the tweet that I put out. I had like David Mihal, who's a well-known developer in this space, smart contract developer, and he's like, yeah, it's just not possible. We had Julian, who we've had on the podcast, who's the founder of Unlock Protocol, who's obviously big with NFTs. He came in and said, yeah, also not possible. There was a bunch of people that were pretty big and have done a lot of work in this space that were all like, yeah, it's not a thing, which is crazy that this many people knew that, yet most like did not know this, I think, in the mainstream. I didn't included. So very interesting. Yeah, we'll see how this plays out.
Completely. Yeah. And I think here's just one last mention on this is if you are trying to figure this out, if you're curious about this, we want to write an article about this and help you, particularly want to help entrepreneurs, business owners, and creators understand, okay, what does this mean for you in terms of your revenue and creating a sustainable business? And so if you want to learn about that, send us a tweet, send us a message, hop us on the Discord. We'd love to chat about it. If anyone's trying to solve this, we'd love to chat about it with you, because we really believe that this is something that's going to be a hot topic for the next few months and something that we can help everyone figure out and solve. So hit us up, down to chat.
And look forward to our podcast coming out next week with Zeneca from Zen Academy. It's a banger. Yeah. And we go deep into this NFT stuff. So check that out next Wednesday.
That's right. Okay, next up, CryptoPunks. Some exciting news coming out for CryptoPunks holder. Damn, I wish I had a CryptoPunk. Is Punks will receive IP rights. So this is from CryptoPunks NFT or Twitter account. They say Punks will receive Bored Ape Yacht Club-esque licensing rights. This means the community would be able to tap the Punks They own to create a myriad kinds of content and derivatives, but punks can't be used for unlawful purposes or for hate speech. So essentially what this does is this puts, it's funny because this was actually a bit of an unknown for CryptoPunks, was from the beginning, CryptoPunks never explicitly addressed this. Like, do holders have licensing rights and IP rights, or do they not? And we've talked a lot about this on the podcast, and it's definitely a hot topic. I think we're also probably going to write an article on this in the next month or so. But this finally officially gives CryptoPunks licensing rights. So essentially what this means is that a CryptoPunk can go and commercialize their punk. They can put it on a t-shirt, they can, use it in any sort of commercial IP that they want to use it in. So great news for CryptoPunks.
But can't be used for unlawful purposes or for hate speech. Who decides what that is?
That would be Yuga Labs who decides what that is. Yeah, because remember, the way these deals work, it's a great question. The way these deals work is Yuga Labs owns the IP, right? Since they own CryptoPunks. Yeah. And they are just licensing the IP of your NFT to you as the holder, right? They're just licensing it to you. So you don't actually own it. So because CryptoPunks owns it, they can technically do whatever they want. They can revoke the license from you. They can revoke the license from everybody, right? It's
basically Web 2 model. It's full on Web 2. It's shit. I'm not gonna lie. Look, here's the one thing I want people to understand. NFTs are still super new. These things only started to become popular, and they're not even that. I mean, they're popular, but they're not like huge yet. But in 2021, basically, like a little bit in 2020, but not even. So like they're like a year and a half to 2 years into this. And, the talk of these rights and things, like people never even thought about that until like late last year. So like we're less than a year into figuring this shit out. So like we got to give it time. The NFT industry now is going to be so different in 1, 3, 5 years from now. And the way that we have all these rights and rules and regulations and all that shit is going to be just so different in a few years from now. So like you're at the forefront. If you're listening to Web3 Academy right now, you're at the forefront and just following along as this sort of like, this is going to be so massive, these rights and things like that for NFTs for the future of business, right? In the future. And we're just sort of following along to see where it goes. And hopefully we can play a part in supporting, building what does make sense and how this should be. That's really what we're doing in the space right now, is kind of building what these ethos are and building the way that this should look. So bear with us and support. We'll give you ways to support whenever we figure those out.
And I think this brings up a great point around finding jobs or starting a business in Web3. Everyone's talking about wanting to get into Web3. Here's the best angle that I think you can take is find a problem currently in Web3, such as IP rights with NFTs, and go down that rabbit hole and be part of solving that. Because there are so many, as you said, in a new revolution of technology, so much happens so fast, but it creates a ton of problems, creates a ton of challenges as we actually use it and commercialize it and make it for the masses. So just pick a lane right now, and there's so many lanes that you could pick, and just go down that lane and make yourself an expert in that, and start creating content around that, and create a who knows what happens, whether you be a service, whether you create a business. I mean, man, so much potential.
I love that. There's so many people that are like, something bad happens in the space and they're like, oh, I'm out, right? Like, oh, we can't get royalties as a creator, I'm out. And it's like, dude or dudette, like, we are writing the rules right now. You don't just leave. It's like, that's just the way it started, but we're going to keep iterating until we figure this shit out. Otherwise, what's the point in doing it? So like, you don't leave, you just go and you innovate and you create something new. And that's really where all the value lies. That's what's so cool about this space, is we're writing the rules right now. All right, no more CryptoPunks. Let's move on.
Okay, Pudgy Penguins. Pudgy Penguins. If you follow NFTs, you would have saw that Pudgy Penguins had a pump recently, and you might have said, why is Pudgy Penguins pumping? What's going on? Why is their floor increasing? Well, floor is increasing because there's some exciting news. They introduced their toy lineup, Pudgy Toys. And these toys are going to be licensed directly from the community. So the way this works is essentially if you owned a Pudgy Penguin NFT, you could participate in, I guess, in their community. They had an opportunity to raise your hand and say, hey, I want a toy made out of my NFT. And if you were selected, then they're going to make a toy out of your NFT, and they're going to do that by licensing your NFT, in which case you will potentially, I'm not sure if revenue will flow to you or if you just get the benefit of your NFT getting more eyeballs and commercializing it and it increases in value. I'm not sure, but I mean, this is what Pudgy had to say, is this is the first of many instances where the Pudgy Penguins IP will allow Web 2 to meet Web 3. Congratulations to the Penguins that were selected.
Go Pudgy Penguins. Legendary. Toys are cool. I like it.
Here's another interesting licensing deal, a quick one that I just wanted to mention because I think this, this licensing concept keeps on coming up. And this is from lacose.eth, who is a pretty big player in the NFT space. He's got a big following on Twitter. And he said, excited to announce that I have partnered with BarrelX NFT to be one of their ambassadors and help them explore new paths in the bourbon industry. I've licensed my Glitch, which is a moonbird, and Ape, and they'll be featured in some of their barrels. So here's an example of somebody who owns an ape and they're licensing it to a bourbon company that is producing bourbon in the NFT space. This bourbon company is pretty cool what they're doing. Essentially, you buy an NFT and then you burn your NFT to get a bottle of bourbon. And depending upon when you burn it, the value of your bourbon changes, because if you leave your bourbon, in a barrel for 5 years or versus 10 years, the bourbon increases in value and it gets better taste. So it's kind of, it's cool. It's cool to see. Cool to see that, but also cool to see the licensing deals like this.
That's a super cool idea with NFTs. Man, NFTs with supply chain and inventory, it's just going to be a game changer. I'm so excited about that space, and no one talks about it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
We got to find someone that's like actually doing something in this space.
I mean, the supply chain point is great. Like rather than why or inventory management, right? Like in this case, BarrelX is selling NFTs and they can predict their inventory because
it's amazing.
It's, and it makes, and we have so many supply chain issues and we're just ruining our environment
and provide a better service for their customers. Cause like now I can get it aged if I want to, but know that I own it. And then if I go, actually, I don't like whiskey anymore. Like maybe I bought this NFT and then I became an alcoholic. I went to AA and now I'm no longer, can't drink alcohol anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, I can just sell my NFT and now someone else can get some nicely aged whiskey. Like, and yet we didn't have to move any whiskey around and have to throw it out. Like it's perfect. Great idea.
It's a great point. Yeah. Really great points. Here's another rabbit hole to go down if you're interested in the space, is the Non-Fungible Films. Non-Fungible Films is a company that is aiming basically to be a leader in NFT based movies, right? And TV shows. And National Lampoon, which Kai, you and I will know well from, we were sort of probably a bit of the end of the generation that loved National Lampoon. Although who
Christmas
doesn't
Vacation?
Watch,
come on.
Yeah, who doesn't watch Christmas Vacation every Christmas, right? Yeah. So
Shitter's full.
Thanks for that quote. We should be bringing up a bunch of National Lampoon quotes here. I'm not so great at those quotes right off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's a better one than that. Please tweet at us and tell us your National Lampoon favorite quote. So anyways, National Lampoon has made a partnership with Non-Fungible Films, where basically they'll be releasing NFTs based upon National Lampoon's IP, and it's starting with the release of some posters that they've created based upon the old movies as NFTs. So it's small. This is not a massive thing, but I think that this is another big rabbit hole, and really like films, the crossover between films and content and IP ownership and what NFTs could unlock for that space is so enormous. And I know that NF Films is also partnered with, who else have they partnered with? They've partnered with Bored Ape Yacht Club for a TV series. There's some other projects. Paramount is doing some projects. ESPN is doing some projects. around NFTs. So there's just so much happening in the space. It's pretty young, sort of like gaming is still so young and we haven't really seen mainstream stuff come out yet for gaming. Film is also still quite young, but
It's all behind the scenes. Yeah, it's all behind the scenes right now. The big wigs are all talking, trying to figure it out. Before we do these launches, though, Jay, there's some community updates that we need to know about. So please let us know what is happening in the Web3 Academy community.
Thank you. Thank you for that cue, Kai. So tons happened in the community. Shout out to the 54 new community members who joined us last week. Welcome. Super stoked to have you. Please make sure you join our new members meet and greet, which happens every Wednesday in our Discord. It either happens at 12 p.m. Eastern or 6 p.m. Eastern. We try to sort of rotate times. Man, time zones are tough, and building in Web3 means you got to involve the whole world. I've never had so much difficulty trying to figure out time zones and meetings across the world. But we're accommodating you. We want everybody in there regardless of time zone. There's a really interesting session happening this week around business development in Web3. I think I mentioned it briefly last week, but there's this big challenge around if you're building a Web3 business, how do you do sales, particularly if you're B2B or you're DAO to DAO is a joke, but DAO to DAO is easy. If you're B2B and you're trying to go after Web2 businesses, you've got to educate. And so there's this session happening in our community this week around how do you educate a consumer who doesn't understand Web3 and then also get them to buy your service or buy your products. Very interesting topic. There's an interesting conversation, and there's so many conversations in our Discord. I wish I could talk about them all, but there's a really interesting one. Kai, you would like this around marketing roadmap for a token launch. And so how do you write a marketing roadmap for a token launch? What are the key steps, whether it be an NFT launch or a fungible token launch? I won't get into the details of that, but if you're launching a token, join our community and you can learn right there. And then there also is a really cool conversation on our writers playground about the importance of understanding your customer persona in Web3. I think Kai, you and I talk about this all the time within our agency. Shout out to 19 Charles 54, who said, many people come into the Web3 space for many reasons. Knowing our audience is paramount. Couldn't agree more. So yeah, that's that. I mean, I could do a whole podcast on what's going on in our Web3 Academy community. But there's a little taste for you, just a little taste on the tip of your tongue.
For anybody that is building in Web3, we talk about this all the time, that community is the most important thing, no matter what you're doing. And I just want to say what Jay and the community team is doing over here in Web3 Academy is unbelievable. Building an audience is easy. Okay. You go post on Twitter, you go post on Instagram, or you make some TikToks, whatever. I mean, people have been doing this for years. It's not hard to build an audience. Okay. Building a community is freaking hard. And these things that Jay's bringing up, which is like, we run these sandbox sessions. We do these every week. We meet with the new members and get on calls with them and like figure out their problems and try to guide them and help their businesses. Like, this is building a community. It's like these one-on-one non-scalable things. And it's unbelievable. And so like, if you are building in this space, which many of you are, or you're creating in this space, join this Discord just to see whether you care to be a part of a community or not. Like, join just to see what is going on, because this is the kind of things that you need to do to build a strong community. And these guys are doing it right. So kudos to Jay, kudos to, I think, Sophia and Lynn. I'm not sure who else is part of the crew that's all helping there. But it is really freaking cool to see all that. It's like, I don't know, building community in real world, you know, you got to show up to events and go to dinners and all these kind of things. And it's like, that's hard to do digitally. And that's basically what's happening inside this Discord. And you can see it all forming and coming together. So great job. It's really cool to see. All right.
Thanks,
next up. Absolutely. Next up, we have some announcements. So Unstoppable Domains is introducing a new mobile app. And basically what they're introducing is an iOS app, which creates a simple and intuitive way to manage your Web3 identity on the go. So within the app, you can do the following. You can buy, mint, and backup and manage your domains on the go. Cool, whatever. You can build a profile card to share your digital identity on social media and in real life. So think of it like a business card, but instead of giving a card and wasting paper, you just can do it, via digitally. But then what's really cool is you can now use this app to log into 180 plus apps, metaverses, and games that have integrated into login with Unstoppable and hundreds of other Wallet Connect compatible apps. So basically, when you try to log into apps, you see there's like login with Facebook, there's login with Google. Now you have login with Unstoppable. There's also login with Ethereum. I believe it's actually the same thing. You are using your domain from Unstoppable instead. And it allows you to log into these applications in a more decentralized manner, where Facebook and Google, the ones that are taking all your data and doing a bunch of shady shit with it, you can do that instead via decentralized protocol, like Unstoppable. And this saves your data. And so it's one step further along the lines of decentralizing everything and just, taking back ownership of our own data. So really cool. Good job, Unstoppable Domains, in moving things forward. We like to see it. We like to see it. Identity is going to be a big thing, and this is a start.
Deep bow to Unstoppable Domains. Thank you for all your work. It's much appreciated.
Namaste.
Now Unstoppable wants me to join their newsletter. Yeah.
Fantom's doing a lot. This is a wallet on Solana. And this is a big one. Everyone needs this. So today, NFT burning is launching on Fantom across all devices. Basically, that means you can safely remove spam and clean up your collectibles tab, all from right inside the wallet. As an added bonus, when you burn those unwanted NFTs, you even make some SOL in the process. So that's just an incentive to get great marketing, right? It's one of the cool things about tokens. Is you can incentivize people to use new features. But I don't think you really need incentive to do this. If you've ever looked at your OpenSea or all your collections of your NFTs, there is a lot of spam garbage out there. And so this is basically just building in the feature that, email has, which is just delete. If you don't want to have it, you can just delete it. And we didn't have that ability. And now we do. So good job, Fantom. I'm sure this will come to a bunch of other wallets in the near future as well. But we need that.
This makes me think of so we mentioned earlier we have a podcast coming out next week with Zeneca 33, which is just unbelievable. And we asked Zeneca how many NFTs he owns, and he caveated by saying, he said first, well, if you were to look in my wallets, he would have, what did he say, 50,000? I think 50,000. But then he said that he probably has only purchased about 10% of those, about 5,000. So he's got 45,000, shitcoin, to use that, NFTs, clogging up his wallets. Like what an absolute nightmare. Imagine 50,000 emails you couldn't delete. Like,
I can't wait till the NFT industry matures and becomes more just legit. It's so this is why I don't participate much in NFTs. I know you're a DGen, an NFT DGen, Jay. I don't, because it just pisses me off to see so much garbage in one industry for something that can be so useful. I got a take on it at the end here, but let's move on. I'll get angry then. For now, I'm going to stay happy. Coinbase. We're going to talk about Coinbase a lot in a second. Coinbase Wallet. Ready, set, bridge is what they say. But Coinbase Wallet users can now bridge assets between Ethereum and Polygon directly in their browser extension. So this is really cool. If you use DeFi and or just Web3 in general right now, you'll probably notice that you have to go to a lot of apps to do a lot of different things, right? Like, oh, I want to use an app that only exists on Optimism. Well, I got to go to Hop Protocol first, and I got to bridge my ETH from Ethereum over to Hop Protocol first. And so I got to make sure that I find the right URL to get to Hop. And then once I've done that, now I can go interact with whatever app on Optimism. Like, that makes no sense. And that's obviously not where the space is going to go. They will all be done likely within your wallets or within your browser specifically. And so you start to see this with this new feature here, where now I don't have to go to Hop to bridge my ETH to Polygon. I can just do it right in my wallet, which is connected right into whatever the app is I was using on Polygon. So that's super cool. Just lessening the steps that it takes to do things in Web3, which is obviously one of the biggest pain points in this space. And so, that will continue to happen. They're also doing it with no fee. So that's cool.
It's awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
No fee for a limited time, actually.
Was there an asterisk on that?
Yeah.
Set the terms and conditions. Thanks.
Okay, we are moving on to the ones and twos. Do you want to do your little song, Jay?
Oh, the ones and twos. The ones and twos.
So this is actually a tweet that came out last night. And well, last night for me, because I'm in Spain. It's since been deleted, but I still want to talk about it because it was hilarious to see. I was actually about to go to bed, and then I stupidly went on Twitter just before bed. And I see this tweet from Universe, is his Twitter name. And he's got a big following, hundreds of thousands. And what he saw was on the Block Explorer for Optimism, he saw that the Optimism contract, which holds most of the OP token, OP token, it had been moved. $450 million dollars worth of it had been moved to another address. And he tweets out a screenshot of it and says, I think there's been a hack on Optimism, and someone has taken 450 million, which is actually greater than the total market cap, like, of the circulating supply right now. So like, this would, if that happened, it would just end Optimism, like, see you later. And so that's what he tweets out. And so the market, within 5 minutes of this tweet, I literally watched the tweet come out, and I look, and Optimism tanks 11% in like 2 seconds. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So you give it 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and all of a sudden David Hoffman from Bank, who is, I think Optimism is partnered with them, with Bankless, just retweets it and goes, not a hack. OP just transferred to a new custody address. And so Optimism tweets out and goes, yeah, there's some confusion here. All we did was move the op to a better secure custody wallet via Coinbase. That was it. And the whole market tanks the price and everyone trips out. It's just like, man, this industry needs to chill the fuck out. Like, everyone's just going nuts. Everyone's on edge. And I mean, look, there's a lot of hacks. I get it. And like, it's all, there's just so much speculation and all this crap. And it's just like, it's really annoying. But it's funny because then it went back up after Optimism tweeted. And it's like, man, sometimes, like, I love that it's 24/7 and you can buy and sell whenever you want. But it's like, it actually might be better for many people to like not allow people to sell after 5 o'clock. Maybe the banks have a reason that they close so early.
So the moral of the story is stay off Twitter right before you go to bed.
Yeah. Yes, that's definitely something. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit of FUD. Can you scroll up to the tweet that this is actually a response to? Yeah, perfect. So, okay, with news from the Tornado Cash ordeal that came out last week, where there's sanctions for anyone who interacts with the Tornado Cash protocol, they essentially can go to jail for like 30 years or whatever it is, if you are a US entity or US individual. And so what came out this past week, and there's been a lot of FUD, is what's kind of interesting is once we switch from proof of work to proof of stake on Ethereum, the way that the validators approve transactions on the Ethereum network is it's just at random. So you're not competing, it's just completely at random. And if there happens to be a Tornado Cash transaction, which there still is because they couldn't shut down the protocol, there's still many transactions. Technically, if you were validating the Ethereum network and of one of those transactions, which there's a bunch that go in a block, if you happen to, and you don't even really know, it just sort of happens, but if you happen to approve and validate one of these transactions that was a Tornado Cash transaction, you are essentially liable and could go to jail for 30 years. And so if you look at the list of who the validators are of Ethereum, well, there's Coinbase, there's Lido, there's Kraken, there's all of these like US entities, one of them being a public company in the United States of America. And they actually make up something like 66% of the entire staking, base of the Beacon chain right now of validators. So this person put out a question. I mean, he kind of worded it wrong. And this is where the FUD comes from, is like, he goes 66% of all validators are going to adhere to the OFAC regulations. That's not true. It's just 66% are in the US. So they probably should, or they at least have to have that conversation. It doesn't mean all of them are going to. So that's a ridiculous statement to begin with. Now, that being said, Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, actually replied to this. He says, it's a hypothetical. We hopefully won't actually face, but if we did, we would go with B, which is, where's the question? Can you scroll up for a second? So there was the options were comply and censor at the protocol level. So basically exclude that transaction or shut down the staking service and preserve network integrity. And so what Brian Armstrong said is they would not censor, but they would just shut down and they would move off and they wouldn't stake. He says we got to focus on the bigger picture. And then he says there may be a better option, which is C, which is not included here, which is legal challenge, right? As well, that could help reach a better outcome. And so there's all this FUD of people saying like, oh, when we merge, Coinbase is going to stop staking, and they're a big staking individual or entity right now. Like, look, this is all hypothetical. None of that has said it's going to happen yet. I think what people need to understand is like this regulation came out against Tornado Cash and they did the worst they could possibly do. That's the point, is in any negotiation, right? If you know anything about law, the whole point, like most lawsuits start with the maximum amount of money, right? Like we're suing you for $1 billion, even though they know they're going to make like $20 million or something like that. Like this is how negotiations work. And we have to negotiate with regulators. So they went as hard as they could. Everyone who ever interacts with Tornado Cash, you're toast, right? And it's like the regulators know that that's not how this is going to go. They know people like Coinbase and others are going to come back and we're going to have a debate, whether that's, just in regulation or that's actually in court. So like, one, don't just get too far gone here. We'll see what happens and we'll figure something out. Number two is like, you got to understand that Coinbase, their entire business relies on Ethereum doing well. Okay. It is their number one revenue generator, is people trading ETH. Okay. It is also ETH assets, ERC20s, all the assets that are on top of Ethereum make up like 90% of this industry at least. So if Ethereum goes down, Coinbase business is done. And there are the people that own Coinbase, the publicly traded company, are a lot of the biggest companies in the world. So like, it's just not going to go that easy. Like Coinbase will put up a fight, and so will Kraken, and so will all these other institutions. So like, I don't know, people need to relax on the FUD and just understand that this will get worked out over time. It's not black or white. There are definitely some gray areas, and there'll be some push and shove, and that's just the way it goes.
And here's what Brian said, which connects back to this, what we talked about at the beginning with Tornado Cash, is he said sanctioning a technology as opposed to an individual or entity seems like a bad precedent to me, and it should probably be challenged. Could have many downstream unintended consequences. Yeah, right. Like, and that's why he's saying there's an option C here, right? Which is somebody's going to challenge this. It's not going to stand as it is. He also says no developer should be arrested for publishing open source software, even if that software is used by bad actors. At least in the US, it is a clear First Amendment issue, and code is speech.
Yeah. So, I mean, I support Brian Armstrong and everything he's doing. I think he's an incredible advocate for this space. And he also says, like, hopefully, obvious point, we will always follow the law, which you should. They are a publicly traded company. So of course they're going to follow the law, but they also have the ability to challenge the law. That's the beautiful thing about the US, is when you don't like something, you can go to court about it, right? And you can get things changed if it makes sense.
So don't be short-sighted. Don't get caught up in the media, the media storm and all their clickbait. Listen to Web3 Academy, where we provide the real stuff, the shit you need to know.
And so this was just released, called The Ethereum Merge is Coming. Here's what you need to know. This is just a notice from Coinbase, because I think tied into that, there was this. So basically, Coinbase said that when the merge happens on the 15th or 16th, whatever it is, they are going to pause withdrawals and I think trades as well, just for the moment that it happens, because they need to configure things on their end. And we just need to make sure that everything goes well. Makes sense. It will be a very fast thing, hopefully, so long as the merge goes smoothly, which we believe it will. It's not a long-term thing or whatever. It's just a quick pause so that it can merge over and everything can change. And they can update what they need to on Coinbase's end and Coinbase Wallet, et cetera. Because again, every application in that interacts, they have to update what they're doing. And so people, though, run with this and go, oh, Coinbase is going to withdraw or is going to pause all withdrawals after the merge. Like they're like FUD, they're out, like Coinbase is done. And it's like, no, guys, it's just this is what we have to do when something like this happens, when there's a big technological change. Coinbase is fully supporting this and they're on board. So from a user standpoint, that's the other explanation of this, is from a user standpoint, there's nothing you have to do. Everything will just be normal for you. So don't worry. But I think what they did put in here as well, and I think is important to let everyone know, is there's probably going to be a lot of scams. You're going to get pop-ups, you're going to get emails, you're going to get things saying that you need to connect your account and update and sign this transaction to get onto ETH 2.0. All of that is bullshit. Do not do that. You don't have to do anything. So please, 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 there's going to be so many bad stories. And I'm already like, I know it's going to happen and I'm pissed already. So many people are about to get wrecked. Don't be that person. You don't have to do anything. So you heard it here. Don't sign a transaction and don't open emails and don't do anything to do with the merge unless it's sent from Web3 Academy, because we got your back.
Yeah, 100%. I just want to repeat that one more time. Like, your ETH will be safe. You do not need to do anything. Yes. There is no ETH2 token. Somebody's going to try to tell you that you need to get the ETH2 token. It's not real. Just, this is a perfect example of one of my favorite scenes from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Paul Rudd is trying to teach, I can't remember the actor's name, how to surf. And he says, just do less. Just do less. Do nothing. Don't do anything at all with your ETH. Just sit and enjoy.
And buy more.
Do nothing and buy more. But don't buy at that time because it might be a little confusing. So we'll just take a deep breath.
Good point.
Around these few days, right?
Yes. September 15th. And speaking of just reading Web3 Academy, there was a new article that I wrote and podcast. So you can also just check it out if you're on Spotify, YouTube, or Apple Podcasts, called The Top 3 Reasons Why the Ethereum Merge is Important for Web3. If you want to understand the merge and what's going on a little bit further, hop over to that. And it was a great resource, I think, to help you understand what's happening here and why this is a big thing for this ecosystem. Do understand, though, things are about to get heated. There's going to be crazy news telling you a bunch of bullshit and a bunch of good stuff. And this just tries to get you kind of on the right path so you understand what's actually happening here. And hopefully you can block out all the noise and all the scams and everything else.
Yeah, link will be in the show notes if you want to read this article. Great article. Thanks, Kai, for sharing this incredible knowledge with all of us. Super, super helpful. Okay, I want to give a quick update on Web3 Academy DAO. Web3 Academy DAO.
Just DAO it, right, Yakuza?
Just DAO it. Some exciting news coming out of Web3 Academy DAO. First, I guess this is more news actually coming out of Web3 Academy. A partnership between Web3 Academy and our buddies over at Lens Protocol has been confirmed. You'll hear some stuff coming out of that, but it's exciting for the DAO because as part of this, the diversity and inclusion team of our DAO will be launching an NFT fundraising campaign on Lens Protocol in support of diversity and inclusion. So a really cool partnership happening there with Lens Protocol. Shout out to Lens. Keep crushing it. You guys are awesome. Thanks for supporting everything we're doing.
And yes, those in the Discord, you are going to get whitelists for Lens Protocol in the future, but please do not ask us. We will tell you when you get it. Don't ask another question. Support, please.
Also, the Web3 Academy DAO applied to the Seed Club Accelerate program. The cohort number 5 applications were due this past week. So if you are a listener out there and you have seed tokens, please vote for us. Give us a thumbs up. We don't have seed tokens, so I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I know that seed token holders, I think you have to have at least 10 seed tokens to participate in voting for the next cohort. And we would love to be part of the next cohort and be part of the seeds incubator system. So yeah, please give us a vote. Also, there's just lots of work happening behind the scenes in Web3 Academy DAO right now. Shout out to Tim for all of his work and a bunch of other people that are involved. But I just want to say, if anyone out there is involved in DAOs and enjoys setup of DAO ops, of DAO governance, we are looking for people to come in and be part of our founding and our core team. So if you have experience in governance, tokenomics, internal communications, talent coordination, please reach out to us, join our Discord, and we would love to welcome you to our core team, to our founding team, or even just have you give a little bit of advice and help us learn because holy geez, setting up DAOs and figuring out structure is so complex. We got a great podcast coming out actually in a couple of weeks about that. So keep an eye out for that because yeah, it's there's a lot to learn there.
Well, it's nuts when there's a lot of people in a DAO. If it's just like 10 people, like, hey, let's set up a DAO and go. But like it's this community that we have, and the listeners of the podcast. There's just so many of you that are so interested in building Web3 and also being part of DAOs that it's like, just got so many people, and it's like, well, we just wanted to start building things. I'm like, whoa, we need to actually like form some organization, some structure here, and that stuff takes work. But I think it's super cool. It's been a fun experience. Man, you can learn so much by getting involved right now. Okay, here's where I get angry. We're gonna get back to getting angry on NFTs. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna be angry. I'm very happy right now. But Alexander 42.eth just tweets out. This is honestly my favorite tweet of the week. All I said was bearish on NFT projects, bullish on Web3 businesses. And this is the phase that I hope NFT projects, or the NFT industry, sorry, moves into. The last 2 years have been a bunch of shit. Like just a bunch of people who think that I just need to launch an NFT and that's it. And, you know, that's just not the case. You know, like people really have this sort of skewed idea of what NFTs are. Everyone thinks it's about the image. And honestly, it has almost nothing to do with the image. If it's a piece of art, then yes, of course it has to do with the art. But an NFT, a non-fungible token, has next to nothing to do with the image. The image is just the thing you see. It's the utility and the value of owning this thing and what it allows you to do or unlocks or what it includes you in or all these other things. That is the real value in an NFT. It is not the image itself. And that is the confusion that most mainstream people have. And so we need to stop calling them NFT projects. And you need to stop thinking of it as an NFT project. It is a business that solves a problem for a niche group of customers, right? And an NFT is a tool which enables you to do that. And if you don't think that way, don't launch an NFT because it's not going to work. I'm sorry, but it's not going to work. Like it's a business. And I really just hope people start to wrap their head around that. And I hope that it seems like that's the phase we're moving into. I see a lot of NFTs launching now where there's some cool utility. There are businesses built around it. It is not just this random, like, hey, I'm going to launch 4,000 NFTs and you get in a Discord, right? And so very bullish on Web3 businesses, very bullish on the use of NFTs in business, but super bearish on an NFT project. What do you think, Jay? You're the NFT degen.
I think speaking of NFTs that are building businesses that create value and make a difference, it's time for our NFT of the month, Kai.
There you go.
So let me tell you about one that is, we are very bullish on this project. Give me a quick drum roll. NFT of the month goes to Hug. Who is Hug? What is, I mean, Hug is obviously their name is amazing. Their branding is also incredible. I went to the Hug event at NFT NYC. The people behind this project are also just the best people in the NFT and in the Web3 space, the people that are building businesses, not just building NFTs. So let's tell you a little bit about Hug and why we picked them as the NFT of the month. First of all, Hug originally started as an accelerator program. It was founded by Randy Zuckerberg, Mark Zuckerberg's sister, actually, who has an incredible background and just a wonderful lady who's done so many good things for the Web3 space and also many other things in her career. And
also the worst thing to ever happen in Web3, which is the video she created about NFTs. I don't know if you ever saw that come out last year. It was awful. It's like a rap about NFTs. There's a rap video basically, and it is so terrible. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. We love Hug, but that video was so bad.
Okay, so Hug's accelerator program. That was our first thing. So they have a few, and I just got to mention this accelerator program, because it's amazing for the space, but also because their branding is so good. So they got Group Hug, which is a growth accelerator for post-mint NFT projects who have found product community fit, right? So if you've minted and you need to be part of an accelerator, what do we do next? We got a whole bunch of money. How do we manage it? How do we build a business? It's tough stuff, right? They've got an accelerator for that. They have Hedge Hug, which is a hands-on advisory program for pre-mint NFT projects with an innovative business idea. So again, focused on business ideas and building. And then they also have Air Hug, which is a sponsored artist in residence program for up and coming artists of any medium. So that's how they started. They have this accelerator program, fantastic. But the reason we picked them for NFT of the month this month is because they also just launched last week, breaking news, their NFT discovery and review platform. There's already 350 projects on this platform, 130 artists, and over 900 reviews. And let me just show you this platform, Kai, and give you a little tour, because it's quite impressive, and I think exactly what the NFT space needed. So essentially, it's a review platform where any NFT can post themselves on here and be reviewed, and it's somewhere you can go. So let's just check out Zen Academy on here, our friends over at Zen Academy. So you can pull up Zen Academy. I'm pulling this up, and you can see there's 4 reviews for Zen Academy. You can see their mint status, they minted out, their mint price, their collection size, and then their current floor price. You got a little description about this project, about Zen Academy, some tags, South Asian founded, education and community, some highlights, a little bit of roadmap categories, and then the best part, some reviews. So this is a place where you can actually learn about, this is so great for onboarding new users to the NFT space, right? And Web3 is it's so confusing and complex, and all the news that's out there. Either what you're going to do if you onboard is you're either going to come on and you're going to buy an NFT that's been promoted to you through a Twitter ad. I can't tell you how many. Can Hoodles please stop promoting Twitter ads on, to me, like
Hoodles?
Twitter.
You say Hoodles?
Hoodles, not doodles. Hoodles.
Like an owl?
It's like with an H.
Yeah,
H.
is it an owl? Is that why it's who?
No, it looks just like a doodle. It's like literally a copy of doodles, and they're, and so that's what a lot of people are going to do. You're going to come on, you don't know what to buy, right? Or you're going to go to OpenSea and you're just going to buy the top ranking thing, and you don't know anything about that. You don't have any reviews. If you go to a marketplace, there's no reviews. That description in that marketplace is written by the project. They can say whatever they want, right? So you need a place where you can go. So Hug, thank you so much for creating this incredible platform where anybody can go and discover NFT projects that are, the best ones and that are well-founded, they have reviews, and you can actually learn about them the right way.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Great job, Hug. Schnablet, if you're listening and you're watching, check out the review page here for these tools, for these NFTs. It reminds me of exactly what we're building over in the DAO. And you could probably take from this. But I absolutely love this. But also, don't just go buy an NFT if you don't know what it is. Use NFTs, use the community, use the business. There's a point there. And if you can't use it, if you're just like, I want to buy it because I don't know, like, don't buy it. It makes no sense. Like, if you want to be part of the community, buy it. If you don't even know if there is a community, don't buy it. Stop speculating on NFTs.
And this is a great starting point, because here you've got, I just scrolling through, you got their featured projects of the month. You've got currently minting, so they're favorites. So some projects that are currently minting that have been reviewed, that are curated. You've got minting soon projects that are upcoming that you can check out.
That's great.
Just what a great site. What a great job. Hug, Randy, Deb Soon, and the whole team. Lore, who I remember meeting at NFT NYC. What a character she is. Thanks for everything you guys do. You guys are awesome.
Randy, you redeemed yourself from that video.
All right. That's a wrap. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. What a great week it's been. Get outside. Have a great weekend. Kai, enjoy Barcelona. Have fun.
I will do everything I can to enjoy Barcelona. Thank you. And by the way, if you are not signed up, we talked a lot about articles that we're writing, and I know this is a podcast. Most of those articles become a podcast anyway. But if you want to read the articles, just sign up to our newsletter. You can just go to w3academy.io, or it's also just in the show notes. You just toss your email in, and we'll send you some kick-ass stuff 3 times a week, soon to be 4 times a week. Oof.
Ooh-wee. Love y'all. Later.
Thank you for listening to Web3 Academy. We hope this helps you along your Web3 journey. And if it does, please share this episode and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. By the way, if you have yet to join the Discord community, you are missing out. This is where all the magic happens. This is where we learn, where we ask questions, where we network. You want to be in there. The link to join is in the description below. And finally, a quick disclaimer. Nothing in this podcast was financial advice. Crypto and Web3 can be risky. You can literally lose it all. In fact, if you invest on account of what we say, you probably will lose it all. So don't do that. In all honesty, the point of this podcast is to remove the noise of markets and price and focus on utility and implementation anyway. So you should not take any of this as financial advice. Thank you, friends, and see you in the next one.